Hello and welcome to the OLM Dev Issue Triage meeting. Today is Thursday, June 9th. Before we get started triaging workpack, I'd like to ask, does anyone on the call have a specific issue that they would like to get triaged? Okay, if not, then we can go ahead and start looking at the issues in the latest workpack milestone. So the current, well, first of all, there's a current milestone, but there's also some issues that need grooming. So we could go ahead and look at some of those issues off the bat. There's a way to sort by that. Oh, there's quite a few issues here. Okay, so why don't we look at these? This one is in 0.6. So the first one here is a visit opt-out design for CRD validated webhook. So this is essentially, we implemented the CRD validated webhook. We made it basically opt-out, so it affects installation of every CRD by default. Upstream wasn't very interested, and in fact, Upstream is moving away from webhooks in general, from what I understand. So this issue is around changing the design of our CRD validator webhook to be opt-in or optional. So I know Tyler, you worked on the CRD validator webhook. Did you have a chance to? I guess this is in 0.6. Is it something that?
Sorry, I think I'm missing the question.
Is this something that we want to do in the current milestone, I guess?
Yeah, I think we're gonna want to think about it soon. I think there's been some questions raised about whether this should be default behavior or not. Specifically around like if this value proposition is something that we want every single CRD to have that's installed through Webpack, or if it's something that we want to allow users to enable. I think the general thought, at least, is that opting in is kind of what we want. I think we could probably make that valve a bit easier to turn, because right now you have to add that to your CRD prior to it getting bundled, which is a bit of a tricky user experience. So I feel like we could revisit this as the ticket implies. Whether or not we need to do it in this milestone upcoming or not, I don't quite know, but I think we're going to want to think about it soon for sure, at least from the sentiments that I've been getting from the various communities that we operate in.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment. I think it's currently, in terms of priority, near the bottom of the current milestone. So I guess we'll see whether it gets into 0.6. I guess, okay. Yeah, so I don't know that we necessarily need to have any further discussion on this one. This one is around bundle status. This is in the backlog. I guess maybe instead of just looking through backlog issues, we can just look at the current release and see, because quite a bit of these are in the backlog actually. So okay, let's go over to the release then. In the release, we have first one is bumping kube dependencies. So this is something that I'm working on. There is a PR up for it. I think this is important. It's important to keep the dependencies of the project up to date, and hopefully this will go in this release. Next up, we have update EDE test to use image stored in registry. Aki, are you on the call?
Yes, I'm here. So
okay.
Yeah, PR is ready for review.
Okay. Okay. Great. So this looks like it'll. Oh, this defined API for bundle addressability. I think this is the one that's just missing in an end-to-end test. Is Joe on the call?
I
No.
don't believe he
Okay.
is, but yeah, this is just missing an E2E test. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Do we know what the ED test is for context?
I think it is just E2E testing for this specific feature. As I understand it, at least.
Okay.
Yeah, he says it right there under the comment you're just looking at. E2E test to exercise something.
Next set the content of each server. Okay, so I wonder if this is we have it slated for 0.6. I mean, it's possible to add an ED test for in 0.6. Yeah.
Might make
Don't know.
sense to break this specific ticket out and close this. That would be my suggestion.
Let's make a ticket for
Yeah,
this
the only
specific.
thing left is the E2E test, just breaking that out to another issue and then closing this one with a reference to that probably.
Well, I guess there's follow-ups, ED test documentation, but this feature and shut up provisioner. I think we have documentation around this already though. Huh.
It's right there, provisioner specs and usage of content.
Yeah, we have the docs now. So the only thing, literally the only thing left is the end address. Okay, so I agree with you. So let's go ahead and do that just to clean this up. Because this also the name, the title of this issue is, like not exactly outline what's left. All right, so we can do. Okay, and I think we can drop this in the milestone.
Yeah, that's some low hanging fruit we can add.
Okay, I'll leave it on the side for now. Okay. Follow-ups from the introduction of the registry v1 provisioner. User documentation that exists. Okay, I think Tyler, you have a PR on flight for that, right?
Yes.
Provisioner developer documentation exists that explains the fallback loader and its motivation. Okay, that's I'm not sure. I'm not sure if we have documentation around that.
Yeah, I don't think that's out yet.
Add an ED test that verifies there should be one bundle can be in fact whether there should be one provisioner compared to a plain bundle installed by the provisioner. Oh, we don't have an end-to-end test for that. Okay. So we just merge the provision, the reversible provision. Okay.
Yeah, I think the 2 through 5 are needed still.
Yeah, this is actually quite a lot. I want, maybe we can break this up, or I don't know, when we have these
Yeah, we can
large
break it up.
tracking issues. Yeah. Maybe we could break this up into separate issues.
Yeah, if
so
you
the
just want to
first-
leave it, if you want to leave this and we can move on to another one, I can break those up into other issues so that we don't just sit on this one for a while we do that.
Okay. Yeah, I think breaking it up is probably better. Just so individuals can come and take individual pieces of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll do that real quick while we're going through the rest.
Okay. Then we have follow-up Git source refactor. So there are definitely some follow-ups here. Aki. Can
Yeah,
you
so
comment
there
on
are
this?
three. Yeah, there are three items in it. In a follow-up. Then two of
Okay.
them are already closed, but the last one is
Uh-huh.
actually it's opened separate issue
one?
already. So yeah. So
Oh, okay.
I think I can close this because the two are closed, and then just remaining has one already standalone issue.
Okay. Last item. Wait, what is this one? Sorry. This is
That is a GitHub
oh,
hash.
uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yep.
So there's some discussion ongoing. So
Okay. Yeah. Okay, to return it in the sorry, in the
so undeterministic
in-
hash or something. Yeah.
is it in the bundle out, like when you do kubectl get bundled, that we want the reference to come through? Or yeah. No, is it the same as the bundle hash problem?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bundle hash. Yeah. Or so I can get I think the API that gives a hash for
Mhm.
some commit or branch or revision, but that is not maybe like a deterministic or something. Yeah, I can try, but anyway, so that is related to hash of the GitHub.
Yeah. I think the non-determinism is with the hash of the bundle template object itself.
I see. So then the GitHub content maybe hash is a deterministic. So I can put that, but
yeah. I think because I think the underlying thing we wanted like some kind of when you do the kubectl get bundle for a Git-based bundle, we wanted some kind of reference, like some kind of concrete thing,
okay.
like the hash or something, or tag.
I see.
Yeah, in the printer columns.
Yeah, but so I put the question saying, so there are no place to put that hash right now in the API.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, we need the status, or we have to extend the reference ref or something to place that hash value.
Yeah. I think there was somewhere there was like a prototype of adding like a content ref or yeah. What is exact? What do we have on the bundle status at this point in time?
So it has whole contents of the
okay. Yeah. Content. Content URL. Yeah. Resolve
that is
source.
content.
Okay. Yeah. What is
So
it?
yes, result source. That is
Okay.
bundle itself.
That is the
So that is bundle source. So that means it says Git and then all the information.
Okay, so we might need to add something here for that.
Right. So maybe we need to extend a get source, and in a get source the reference ref.
Okay. All right. So let's see. Going back to this particular issue. Wait, sorry. This is this. This issue. Just refactor. Okay, so this issue, yeah. So this one, going back to what we were talking about, this maybe we want an issue that more specifically targets like what
Okay.
what this is trying. I'm not a huge fan of this GitHub bot sometimes because it I don't know, it doesn't necessarily give an issue with the most context. This is just a wall of code. Okay, but is this in 0? Yeah, this is in 06. So this, yeah. So this may require bundle bundle source. I guess we're checking this in this issue. Okay. Do you feel like this? Sorry, you mentioned this, but do you feel like maybe this one is then? Is there anything left in this one that we're tracking?
No,
that's not tracked in this one.
That's all.
Okay.
Yeah, that hash one only. Yes.
Okay. All right. So maybe we can just go ahead and close this.
Okay.
Cool. Thank you. Close. Oh, what else? Rename bundle status. This. Yeah. So this is a pretty straightforward issue in the sense that we just want to change the field on the API to something else. I don't know if we had any agreement on what that should be. Does anyone on the call have maybe any ideas on it, or we can keep it? I don't know if this needs to necessarily be in 060.
Yeah, I think this is a side effect of us trying to update the user experience of embedded bundles to be a bit clearer, mainly around reflecting status. And part of that was part of that conversation led us to talk about how the install bundle name feels overly verbose and also kind of misleading sometimes. So yeah, I think that there was some churn around that. I'm not sure if we ever reach a consensus on this, as we can kind of see. You had like you kind of brought up the question if we had a feeling one way or another, and I don't think there was a response. So yeah, I don't know if this is needed in this milestone, but it's something we'll have to think about eventually, probably.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of tempted to kind of I don't know, Tim put a good first issue on it. It's such a small thing. I guess it's referenced in the documentation too, so maybe there'll be some doc updates too.
If we're fine with renaming this to the proposed name or bundle and bundle name, one of the two, and then I'm fine with including this because it's really easy. Just a matter of, is that what we want it to be? You know, so if it is, then yeah, let's get it in. If it's not, then we should talk about it. But I think that bundle or bundle name is fine with me, either one.
Yeah, I mean, I think like status.bundle is the shortest and the most clear, but I don't know, it's supposed to do name, active name. We could look at some other Kube APIs to see how like one references the other to inform the decision. But I don't know if we need the name after it, but maybe someone opened a PR for this and then we want to bike share a bit on that. Yeah, that could be. So okay, so we'll leave this in.
That sounds
In
good.
the milestone. Yeah, it is a good first. I guess it's a good first. I suppose it's a good first. To be honest. Run unit tests in a container locally. Right. So this came out of the issues around the hash implementation that we used when we're hashing the bundle templates. Let me see. I see Noah is on the call. Noah, you looked into this issue briefly, right?
Yeah, we after discussing with you, we decided to try and just locally replicate the difference in hashing by with the little toy program I'm writing that just runs a hashing function, and we'll run it on different operating systems, and then take it from there once we have a better idea of what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think that's actually the issue that motivated this issue. And that issue is actually just like, I don't know, some kind of problem with the implementation. And I feel like if we can resolve that, then maybe we actually don't want to do this. I know Ben Paris also mentioned that like if you run your unit tests in a container, essentially it slows down your CI time and adds some complexity. So maybe, I don't know, Tyler, how do you feel about maybe we don't even really want to do this?
This is, hey, can I chime in on this one? This is Jesus. The SDK had this very similar type of question come up where we wanted to run like either Ansible or some of our tests to make sure that they always run for folks. And we never did it because of the time that the amount of effort it took to set this up to get it right. And then the time it would take folks to run it locally. It was just, okay, now we've got to download the image, get it to run just to get the test to pass. When in reality, we really wanted the test to pass on their local machines because sometimes we found, oh, there's a dependency missing. There's things that we thought we had incorporated that we needed to add to the documentation. So it kind of found things when they failed in the process. I mean, this here to me almost scares me that you're going to run a test for hashing because it will work because on Mac OS it's different. I guess you're never going to be deploying on a Mac OS, so maybe I guess that's okay. But it seems that, yeah, I would not do this if I were you guys.
Yeah, thanks for that. Thanks for that context. That's a really good point. I think, yeah, it's totally like the fact that we even have to think about doing this is totally a problem with some of the hashing implementation that we did. But I guess we moved a little bit too fast on that. As Noah said, he's looking into it, and I think then based on your experiences, Jesus, on the SDK side, we can go ahead and push back. I think we can go ahead and close this one out. Because you're right. Like, I mean, I think the unit test should pass without being in a container that can pass on the local host.
Yeah, I mean, I know that we've talked about setting up like an Ansible dev container that they could download, and it has all of the Ansible dependencies on it, but it would hide the fact that you need to know what those dependencies are as an Ansible operator developer. So yeah, we always ended up, yeah, okay, this sounds like a good idea, but there's more issues that it creates, and then there's another thing to maintain. So
out of curiosity, how did you finally deal with this queue? Or was it just there?
The skew in
Uh,
terms of
In terms of different running it in different OS.
once we figured out that we list what the dependencies were, we were able to list those in the documentation. And because if it's using pip for Python, we can tell them to run that. There's like, we have maybe, there's one weird thing. This is mostly for signing of commits for GPG. We actually have to have a thing in the docs that said, okay, for macOS, you need to install this instead. But very rarely do we run into the skew that is this big.
I see. Okay, so the answer is either documentation or handle it in the make file.
Yes.
Okay.
That is. Thank you for translating that.
just want to get a TLDR, but yeah.
Yep.
And yeah, just for context, I think you asked earlier, Dan, totally good with closing this. I think that the points brought up here are pretty perfectly pointed at getting rid of this. So let's go ahead and move forward on figuring out why that hashing implementation is wrong and moving forward.
Yep. Sounds good. All right, so we'll go ahead and close this one. Okay. Refactor main exploitation logic. Oh, so this, okay, so this is from April. Refactor to reduce the complexity. Okay, I see. Oh, Aki, you have a pull request for this? Nice.
Yeah, I tried and then put the PR. Just yeah, I want team review if that is the match his intention or not. I didn't change any logic, just rearrange into the small functions and something like that.
Okay, so I see you got some reviews, and then are you just waiting on reviews now?
Yeah, it's a long time ago. It's he reviewed it, put the left some comments. So
okay,
yeah, probably I need to ask him to review, then see what he said.
Okay, so looks like we can potentially then get this one in 06, which should be cool. Okay, so we'll leave it in.
Yeah,
that sounds good. Plain provision not roll out bundles containing CRDs and instances of those CRDs. So it looks like we've been moving this back and back. I wonder what this is. I guess Tim has the most context here. I think I understand what the issue is, but I'm not sure I see a straightforward solution. Essentially, if you have a CRD and an instance of the CRD, you have to order the installation of the different objects, which I don't believe we do. Okay, well, I feel like we're missing a little bit of context here. I'm not sure if this is going to make it through in 06. I'll just leave a quick comment. I think it's likely this will get pushed back. So I'm not sure we have anyone actively working on it right now. But that being said, I'm not sure I want to put it in the backlog just yet. Okay. Move reference printer column. Right. So this, I think this is Aki. This is similar to the one we were talking about with the git hash in the as a reference.
Let's see. Yeah.
This idea of like when you do get bundles, you want to get back some kind of information. I guess some kind of like very specific information about the bundle.
So when the bundle is created, it unpack from GitHub, unpack based on reference, commit, branch, or revision or something. Then I can get hash associated with that things. Then, but I need to put that hash put in some place in a status or things in the API. Then after that, I think I can change the logic of this print column to include that in output.
Right. I think I'm not sure if we want to display a hash back to the end user.
I see. So then in that case, this is the reference is just reference, right? The commit ID or the branch or
that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, or like the image image reference, right? If it's not Git based. Yeah, so like a branch tag, digest. If it's a commit hash, then I guess we could show the commit hash. But I think this is really a duplicate, somewhat of a duplicate of the one that we looked at, where showing the.
Yeah, probably, but it's a kind of different. Right? We are going to touch different place. This is a kube control things, right? Putting to the API, then that's included. I don't know the logic between how to change the print column.
Oh yeah,
the kube API, kube control.
Yeah. It's just like some additional like kube builder markers on the top.
I see.
Yeah, it's just one line. It's just we need to. I think that bundle reference, like that API field we're looking at, I think we might need to. If we updated that, then we can get this through. I wanted. What was that issue that we were looking at? So this was the original one. This one. Yeah. Something like this. So this relates to.
See.
This. I doubt that we're gonna get to this one in 0.6. I'm gonna. Whoops. I'm gonna put this in the backlog for now. And we can see if we want to bring it into the next release. Okay. Bundle unpack pod gets continuously recreated. Bundle unpack binary fails. Oh, interesting. Okay. So this one's been around for quite a long time. This is basically like a bug we're tracking. Yeah, and it's probably not a very simple bug. I see we put it in 0. Okay, so Tim put it in 0.6. See, take a look at it. Okay, so we'll leave it in. I'm not sure he has the bandwidth to do it, but it seems it's definitely an important issue. Proof source interpretation, there's no result. Okay, this is what we looked at. And the last one is metrics framework for tracking past PI failure rates. Okay, this is definitely a nice to have. I again don't think that we're gonna get to it in 0.6. And I wonder if there's does anyone know if there's any kind of like off-the-shelf solution for this type of problem? Because like I feel like every repository has this problem, right? We have the same problem in OLM. I don't know if anyone has heard of it or seen anything like this.
What are you trying to track? Pass failure rates of CI? And yeah, we're not doing any of that. Most of the ones that fail in SDK are usually a 404 from a documentation link checker. Even not a 404, but sometimes a 403 forbidden or something that will flake out. And we've tried making it more robust, but it's really telling us that we've either hit the limit for GitHub or the source of the document. And so that's the only ones that really flake on our end.
Yeah, you guys have a lot of stable tests then, I suppose.
Yeah.
Our tests are.
We're also not like, ours are not as cluster dependent either.
Right,
We're running
exactly.
some scaffolding, run a project, get it to work. Okay, that ran, pull it back, done.
Yep. And that's definitely true.
The question I would ask is, what are you trying to gain from these metrics?
I guess the only thing, well, I guess we're trying to track flakes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And I know that there's at least one test that we have that is flaky that I wrote, where it goes out to GitHub. It hits the GitHub API for some of the bundle content coming from GitHub is hosted on GitHub. For an example of a test that is potentially flaky. So that's a good question.
That's the thing. It's, you've got stuff that probably depends. Like we do get the GitHub one a lot because we will often go through the documentation of the PR, and if there's a link, we go and try to hit it. Sometimes it's GitHub, sometimes it's Kubernetes. And if we've been hitting too many PRs, we will get back either forbidden or some other like error. And at first we try to figure out, okay, how can we make this better? But really there isn't. It's just the fact that the only other option is if I get this specific error, then this is not a failure. But now I'm masking it. And now we just kind of like, oh, if it's docs, then do a quick look. If it's the 403, then we wait. And then at some point it'll settle down because the refresh rates or the the rate limits will change. When Docker added their thing, that really killed us, and we had to go switch to Quay for images because we just couldn't get past the rate limit for Docker for the images in our test. So
right. Yeah, I imagine that the Docker Hub limits killed a lot of CI.
Yeah. So yeah, I just don't know, like, that particular example, and maybe that's not your only one, those are going to happen because you've got an external system, and maybe you just have to live with them and wait for them to kind of settle. If it's something different, then maybe. So yeah, I mean,
Yeah, no, it's definitely a fair question. I think the motivation was to just try to avoid the same problem we have in the OLM suite, where it was just got very, very unstable. And yeah, you know, I'm willing to bet there's some kind of solution for this, maybe that we can leverage instead of building our own, because it seems like a completely generic problem. I'm not convinced that we're going to get to this in 0.6. I'm pretty tempted to just bump this back in the backlog for now, just based on the team's priorities or sorry, the contributors' priorities. But yeah, I think that was it. I think we got through the 0.6 milestone.
Alex raises his hand.
Yep, go ahead, Alex.
Yeah, I was just gonna add that like it would be nice if there was an off-the-shelf solution for something like this. There's a lot of value, in my opinion, in being able to track not only the pass-fail metrics of a CI suite, but also the performance of it. Being able to look at historical data and saying that, you know, these tests were, you know, consistently passing, and then with the introduction of a PR, that the success of the test became a bit more flaky. It's a pretty powerful tool when you're trying to provide customers of your project with a certain level of guaranteed on in terms of like how you know, like for sorry, a certain level SLA with your project. You know, it reduces barriers of entries for new contributors. They don't need to know historically that if this test fails because of a 404, you know, they can actually see that that's been happening before. And if you add performance testing to it, you can actually track performance losses on your product, right? So if you introduce a new feature and you notice that like it takes twice as long now to resolve installations and such, you know, that's a pretty powerful tool to have in your back pocket just to make sure that your project stays healthy. So I do think there is a lot of value in having metrics behind your CI tests. But you know, I do think we've looked into this a couple of times, and there's really not an off-the-shelf solution. So how viable it is for us to create one, I think that'd be quite a bit of work, especially because tracking performance health over time is a fairly difficult task, especially in the concept of like a CI suite.
Yeah, those are all great points, especially the performance of something like an operator or a set of controllers. You know, I guess it's something that operator framework as a org can, you know, potentially could do some investigative work on that. Yeah, and I think the point about historical references, yeah, totally could be useful. It's a shame that there's nothing that we can just take and use. Okay. All right. So I think we got through this 0.6. You know, the current milestone for RuckPack. I would go over to DEPI now, but I think the issues on DEPI are still a little bit in flux, and there's no real need to triage them. So I think I asked in the beginning, but if anyone has a specific issue that they would like to look into, we can do that. Otherwise, I'll just let everyone go a little bit early and call the meeting short. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, in that case, thank you, everyone. This is Issue Triage today, and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.
Thanks, Dan. See you guys. Bye.